Hi guys, and welcome to my very first episode of Flosstube. My name is Jessie, and I am the creator of WildIgnite Stitching, which is, if you haven't heard of it, which you probably haven't because I'm just starting out, it is a stitching company where I'm creating patterns based on simplistic wildlife inspiration. So, just taking a look outside, seeing what kind of inspires me, and then creating patterns that are easy for beginners. I invite you to take a look at it and check it out. I hope you like it. Otherwise, I figured, I keep watching Flosstube on YouTube, and it's so much fun to see what everyone's working on. It's just something that I wanted to try. So I have no idea what I'm doing, and I definitely haven't done this before. So, bear with me. We're just gonna see how it goes. Video may be a little bit choppy. I know most of the time typically format is it's just a nice long video to stitch along to. However, I'm a very proud dog mom. I have 2 dogs. I've got Coda, who's on this side of me. She is a shepherd mix. She's 9 years old. And then I have Hawk, who's down there. He is a red heeler. He's 1. And as much as I love to think that my dogs are the most perfect, we live in an apartment and they like to bark at the door sometimes. So I also go on tangents, a lot of them. So when we're finished recording this, I'm gonna go through and give it an edit. And if I find myself on a very long tangent that no one wants to hear, I'm gonna edit out for you because it's just kinder that way. Cool. So I guess what I want to do is I want to give you a little bit of background on me and why I started and what kind of gave me this inspiration to go down this journey. And also my background in stitching because, I don't have a long one. I'm kind of new to it, but it's fun. When I was a kid, I didn't do any stitching. No one in my family stitched. My mom did a bit of crochet, the washcloth squares. But it was my grandpa who was pretty artsy, and he stuck more with painting. So with me being a crafty kid, I was always drawn to the DMC floss balls in stores. I thought they were so pretty. I thought the colors were just fantastic. And I actually didn't know what you could do with that growing up. So I made friendship bracelets, like most 12-year-olds. I kept making them pretty much until into my 20s. I was still making them for people because they quite enjoyed them, and I did the intricate patterns. Life goes on. Kind of just fell out of it. And then when the pandemic hit, I was at home. I had moved from New Zealand back to Ontario, and I was living with my parents for a little bit just to get that transition before we moved out to British Columbia, which is where we're living now. We kind of like everyone, the pandemic hit. I ended up being off work. My partner was off work. We couldn't do anything. I couldn't see anybody. There was too many adults in our household, so the weather started turning nicer, and I was like, I want to just sit outside and do a craft, like something that's working with my hands and also not looking at TV, because I found I was spending way too much time looking at a screen, which was doing my head in. So I started on Pinterest first and was like, well, what is that thread called? And I found, it's embroidery floss. So what's embroidery? And I started looking at embroidery, and I was like, that seems a little advanced. What about cross stitching? Is there cool cross stitches these days, or is it all still kind of that old vintage style, which, as great as that is, I do not have the attention span for it. I think I may have a touch of the ADHD, so a project that size it's just out of my league. So I ended up going on Pinterest and taking a look to see if we had any modern patterns out there that were nice and easy and beginner friendly. And that was when I came across Stitching Fairy, because I didn't know what Etsy was. at all either at that time. I didn't online shop until the pandemic, and then I got Amazon, and it's fine. We just don't talk about it. So I ended up finding Stitching Fairy on Pinterest, went to their site and found a load of different patterns that were a little bit nature inspired, a little bit more modern, you know. And I found 3 that I was absolutely in love with. It was, there was a wolf, a fox, and a bear. And dogs, I tell ya. It's fine. It's fine. We'll edit that out. It's fine. So I found, where was I? I found 3 patterns. One was a bear, one was a wolf, and one was a fox. And in them had these tree silhouettes and these mountains. And I was like, oh, that feels really nature-y, which is something that I've always been drawn to, is the outdoors. So I bought them on a whim. And then I realized that I had just bought PDFs of something that I had no idea what I was meant to do with, and no supplies to do them, and no idea where to start at all. I just paid for online pieces of paper. So I started doing a whole bunch of research, and I looked on YouTube, and I was watching, actually the first one that I found was just a beginner cross stitch video. It was Learn How Cross Stitching 101 Getting Started by Phil's Next Kick. And I think it's a pretty popular one. It's a nice short video, and that's where I learned, okay, that's how you back a needle. Like, oh, what is this fabric? What is that called? Ida? Ida? Okay, all right, I guess I'm gonna need some of that. And then from there, I ended up having, like, I pretty much feel like I binged watched a lot of Peacock and Figs videos. Again, I'll link all of this down below so you guys can take a look at it. I found that she's got the most fantastic tutorials, and like, especially for any beginners. It's just really easy to follow tutorials. So I made up a little list, and I was like, okay, what do I need? Like, what do I need to get this started? So I made a list of the floss. I made, like, I guess 14 count Ida is what I need, and a hoop needle. That was pretty much it. And I went online because obviously everything was closed. Michael's was open for curbside, but they didn't have anything in stock, like, at all. So I went online, started looking at a whole bunch of different websites and going through, and I was so very lost doing that, because I'm thinking to myself, what is a Q-snap? Do I need a Q-snap? What in heaven's name is a thread conditioner? Do I need that? Like, is that something I should be buying now? And also the big one, I was thinking, oh my goodness, who spends $25 on a pair of scissors? Me, I do now. I do now. So I got it all together, and I ended up going through, proceeding to check out, put in my address. I was like, oh, I'm so excited. This is the first time I'm buying really anything online. And I'm like, and ship. And I sat back. I was like, yes, this is great. Super stoked. It's gonna take a few weeks because everyone's busy, but you know, my things will arrive and I'll get to start. And I sat back and I was so proud of myself until I realized I had just ordered shipping from a store that was like 40 minutes down the road from me, which is horrendously unnecessary. So I called them up, or I sent them a message the next day. And I tell you what, they were absolutely fantastic. They did, literally within less than a day, they had refunded me my shipping. You could tell they were so tired, they were overworked, they were busy, everyone was exhausted, but through the whole thing, they had fantastic customer service. They were so supportive of me and what I was trying to do and just starting out. At one point, they were back ordered on the needles. Dog, that one's Hawk. They were back ordered on the needles, and they were back ordered on the Ida. And so they called me and they're like, hey, what can I do? What can I give you? And I looked at them, they're like, oh, we have all these brands available. I was like, guys, just send me something, because I don't know what I'm doing. So they were so good. They fantastic. They were Stitch It Central, and they're located in London, Ontario, and they do online orders, and I highly recommend anybody order from them just simply based on their customer service. They were fantastic. So it took a couple weeks, like I was saying, because it was April in the pandemic and everyone was crafting, and me and my mom went for a drive because we had been stuck in the house for, you know, at this point almost 2 months, and we were all going a little nuts. So we got in the car, put on our hand sanitizer, drove down the highway, did curbside pickup. I dropped a Timmy's card off like when I did the curbside pickup just because I bothered them so much and they were so helpful. And yeah, went home and started stitching, and it took me pretty much until we moved out to British Columbia. We moved out here in June, so it took me a couple months, and then I finished this one. So that is the story of my first piece. And yeah, you know, I was super proud of this because I don't finish things very often. I'm very much that type of person who starts something and then never finishes it. I just get really excited to start. So yeah, the fact that he came out, you know, it just was really made me happy. But I will tell you, I say I finished him. I haven't done anything with the back yet because he's so precious. I want to make sure I do something right. So he's just hanging on my wall and I get to look at him and he makes me happy. Yeah, that's the story of my first guy. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't expecting to fall in love with it as much as I did. It was very surprising to me how much sense of accomplishment you get out of finishing a piece. Like, but I mean, come on guys, if you're watching this, you already know, right? Cool. So I guess I want to, how do you transition? Like, is there like a way to transition between like that story and then my next thing? Cause, if there is, I don't know how to do it. So I guess we'll just get right into it. I started making my own patterns after that, because as much as I love the trees and the mountains and the wolf and everything, like it was the right vibe, it just wasn't exactly what I was looking for. Like I had an idea in my head of what I wanted to stitch and what I was visualizing, I couldn't find. So, like, let's make it. Maybe there's someone else out there like me who's also looking for this sort of thing, and you know, maybe there's not, and I'm just, you know, doing this for the fun of it anyway. But you know, maybe there are people who kind of want that like wanderlusty, trendy, all those fun, you know, all those fun keywords, right? So I started off with just drawing things out on a piece of paper and being like, well, this is kind of the idea that I want. And then I would take from the piece of paper and put it onto, I was using Stitch Fiddle, which is a free version of like PDF, downloadable stuff, words, things, those. And so Stitch Fiddle is a program that you can take your own photos, your own whatever, import it into the program, and it will actually give you a chart, which is really cool. It does have its limitations, which I found to be, as I got going, I found those limitations to be really drawing back on what I wanted to do. So I actually invested and I got a program called WinStitch, which for anyone who's looking on designing, I think it's top notch. Okay, I guess I haven't really tried anything other than those two, but I still give WinStitch 5 out of 5 stars. So I guess the first pattern, I may as well just show you my first one. We'll start from there. Was this guy who I don't have in a hoop. So I ended up doing like kind of taking the heart monitor, the EKG, and I gave that kind of a go. And okay, well, it's probably should have thought that it was going to be backwards. I wonder if I can switch things in editing. I don't know. If it's backwards, I couldn't. If it's forwards, it's ignore that. So it basically just says, the mountains are calling and I must go. Of course, the lovely saying that everyone always goes to. And then I drew out some mountains and did the silhouette. And I really like this one. I'm going to be putting it in a frame. I found a nice frame at the thrift store, and I'm going to be putting it in a frame and then maybe putting it on my shop. But we'll see. And then after that, this is currently a work in progress because I love it. I do. But I don't know, it needs something. I've had a lot of really great feedback on it, but I do want to keep playing around with it. So you'll see it's got some backstitch on it at the moment that I'm gonna have to ribbit, frog that out. But this is a piece that I did that is inspired by everyone's favorite hero, Bob Ross. I love his perspective. Absolutely. I think that having the trees in the foregrounds and then you pull yourself back to the mountains is just absolutely stunning, and he does fantastic landscapes. It's what I was trying to go for in this one. Yeah. I'm gonna play around with it a little bit more, and I'm gonna see, like, I'm gonna keep this one, but maybe do just, you know, a little bit different. Same idea, a little bit something different. And then I'll show you this guy. So this is my little bear. He's also a work in progress at the moment. Actually, all right, I'll tell you the funny story. So a few weeks ago, right now we're living in a little town in British Columbia, and we're not really near anything. So we had to run some errands a couple weeks ago, and I looked, I swear I did. I looked on Google and I was like, okay, perfect. The craft store's open. This is great. We have to go run errands in the big city anyway. We have to get a Walmart. So we'll just zip over to this craft store. And so we're driving, like an hour and a half we're driving, and I go to Google to get the directions to where to go, and I'm like, oh no. And my boyfriend's like, what did you do? I'm like, oh. So remember when I looked online and it said it was open at 10? Yeah, it opens at 10 tomorrow. So we went all the way there, didn't get any of the supplies that I actually needed, but I called them and they were super kind enough to just take my phone order, and they've mailed out my supplies. So I'm just waiting for that floss at the moment. So this is why this guy's not finished. Whoop. But yeah, this is my little black bear. Is he focusing? How do we get him? Here we go. Yeah, so he's just got a bit of backstitch left to go after I finish up those last few pieces, and yeah, he's super cute. I'm hoping to do a lot more small stitches for animals. All the animals that you would find in the Canadian mountains. I just kind of want to put them down and do like nice small stitches that are easy for everyone. Other than that, what else have I been doing this month? I guess my big one, which is my favorite one, is my Stay Wild pattern. And I love this. I really do. It's pretty much, this is what I was after when I first started stitching, and this is kind of the trajectory that I'm going to be going from here on out. Yeah, I love it. It is all one color, which is neat aside from the mountains, because you can kind of pick whatever color you want to do this on. You can pick whatever color Ida, and then you can do whatever color floss you want. I personally like the high contrast of the black and the white, and then we've got those grays in the mountains as well. So yeah, that's my Stay Wild piece. Going forward, I've got a sister piece to this one that I did that is Stay Free. So it's Stay Wild, Stay Free. Super cliche, I know, but I love it. And for that one, I'm really itching to get stitching, but okay, I'll see myself out. I'm looking forward to starting that one, but I bought a boom arm from Amazon. So it's got like the two arms, and it's got a ring light, and it's got like a thing to hold your phone. So I want to do a bit of a, I'm going to try my hand at those like time-lapse things. maybe just do a time lapse, like the top down version of a time lapse for that one when I stitch it, and see if anybody's interested in watching it. I'm not really too sure other than that. Yeah, I think that's kind of all I've got going on for January. I've just been having a really fun time getting to meet really fantastic people online. I wasn't really one to use social media before, so this is a whole new scenario for me, and I'm actually really enjoying it. It's lovely to get out into the communities and meet people and see what they're doing and what road their journey's taking them on as far as stitching and what they like to do, because what I really enjoy is people are also posting about their personal lives and, you know, what they do in their free time and what their favorite movies are and what shows they're watching. And it's just been, it's been a really nice way to connect with other people when we're, you know, not to get all serious, but we're at a point in time where the world's in a funny place, and that's kind of tough. And a lot of people are feeling really isolated right now. So I found that this community and entering into this community has just been, it's just been fantastic. I can't thank anybody enough for it, really. Yeah, I just realized I've been looking at myself this whole time. I think I'm meant to be looking like at the camera, but hey, we'll get there. I'm gonna go. I think this is, you know, this was really fun. I had fun talking to you guys and trying this out for the first time, and I hope it wasn't too tangenty for you. I hope everything was okay, and, you know, I look forward to doing my next one, and maybe doing one, I mean, at this stage I'm so busy, maybe I'll do one once a month or once every couple weeks. And if anybody watches this, let me know if you do want to see more. Let me know what you think. I'll link everything that I kind of talked about down below, so you guys can take a look and check out those places and those sites and those videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. And I hope you guys have a very fantastic, wonderful day. Bye. Is that gonna work? A little bend forward. I don't think that's gonna work too well, is it? Okay, we'll just go ahead and, oh, my tummy's growling. How am I gonna get it up there? I need to make a way. How am I gonna do that? I believe in us, team. We're gonna figure it out. Just I'm not too sure how yet. Remember that time I bought a boom arm off of Amazon? This is the reason. This is what it's gonna be really good for. But I'm impatient, so we'll find out. Okay. I think that's like kind of good height. If I can get it to stay. I've got it on top of a juice jug right now. That's not gonna stay. Okay.